Hello there. Let's start the first video, manage windows. So first, I'd like to go through the important components from the graphic interface from the RSLogic 5000. All right. I'd like to let you know that there are lots of features from the interface. We don't have to know all of them, right? Even that the ones I listed here, altogether there are 9 components I will talk about, but you don't have to be expert at the beginning, right? So you can just need to know, have some basic overview and to know where to find some certain functions. All right, so let's go through the list. First one is on the list. Let me get my pencil. All right, over here. So that's this area, right? This rectangle area. This is called, you can go down here, the online toolbar, this window, right? So in this area, you can get status of the PLC, right? So for example, here you have all the indicators. When you are online, you can check on that. And then also over here, right now, we are at the offline status. Later on, you can click this button to download or get online. All right. There are also other features on here. We don't need to know them at the beginning on here. All right. So the other thing is that over here, you can see on this picture, this is a selector switch, right? So that simulate the real selector switch on the controller. So if you look at the PLC controller, physically you will see a selector switch. So later on, when we change the running mode of the PLC, you will actually see the selector switch going to different position, right? So it's a live reflect on the controller mode, all right? The second item on here is just a quick button. So if you click this button, you can quickly open the PLC controller property window. That's over here. So for example, you can look at the controller module catalog number and also other properties from the pop-up window. I'm not going to talk about that sub window here in this video. Number 3 on the list. All right. So by the way, you see here, right beside here, there's a button here. If you have RSLogic 5000, you click here, you can see the start page slide open on here. All right. Let's talk about this area. Number 3 is what they call, you can see here on the title, controller organizer, right? This is a very important window you need to know, all right? Similar to other Windows applications, like for example, the Windows Explorer, right? So on the left, actually many of the Windows applications on the left-hand side, you will see something like this. It's like a tree structure, right? So you can see there are different nodes, right? And then with that node, you have sub-nodes, right? So this is the way Windows organize certain system lets you to get access to each one of the components. Right. So for example, here within the main program, we have one routine, right? Main routine. Then we have another program, right? We'll talk about that later. So they are in parallel, right? Main program and lab 1, lab 01, lab 02. There are 3 separated programs, and especially with the lab 01, you even have 2 uh, routines, right? One of them is main routine, right? So this is the structure lets you to look at the whole uh, system in the organized way, right? Below that is a window they call a quick view, quick view pane, right? So depends on which part, which node you highlight on the tree structure, this sub window give you quick view, right? So currently we highlight this subroutine called version 1. So you can see here, it gave you all the basic information. The type is a ladder diagram. And also the program name is lab 01. And numbers of the, how many runs in this routine? 3. right? So of course, if you highlight on different nodes on the tree structure, you will get a different information. For example, if you highlight a input-output module, that this window will give you probably what kind of input-output module, the catalog number, or the communication status. Maybe it's uh, uh, in the wrong state or something wrong on there. You will see a yellow triangle probably from this window, right? Anyway, it just give you a very quick response on the detailed information from the controller organizer nodes, right? So let's look at number 5 at list over here. So this window, this button is just let you to quickly open, close controller organizer. So that's why it's called the toggle button on the controller organizer window, right? So if you, right now you press down, you see that organizer. If you release it, this window disappear. So you can have more area to look at. So number 6 is the area you will use when you program the ladder logic or any other language. So this is called the, like, what do they call that? They call language element toolbar, right? So all the instructions supposed to be available in this area, right? So you can see they have different arrow buttons to let you to go through. So for example, right now, the current uh, group of the instruction is under the bit instruction, so exam on, exam off, right? So you can also click this button to look at more, right? There are more instructions belong to this category. And then over here, I block over here, there's 2 buttons on here. You can also scroll down. There are more groups, right? You can see here, bit, timer counter. And then if you go that way, you will see more groups. For example, there'll be some program control instructions. There'll be some instructions let you to compare the integers, right? Something like that, right? So number 7 is what they call the communication. It must do, yeah, pass toolbar, right? So that basically tells you what you're trying to communicate with the PLC. So right now you're doing the offline. You can see here offline, right? So if you download, this gonna download to the emulator, right? So later on I'll talk about that. All right. So over here, if you click this button, you can check the history, right? What the path you choose before. And this button will open the RSWho window, which is also available underneath the menu bar, right? And this icon, you will see that that there's some gear around here, right? Gearbox, like gearbox, right? So when you are online, if you pay attention on here, you will see those gearbox turning, right? That's also animated icon on here. So below that area, you will see most of the time, probably you will focus on this part because this is where you program your instructions, right? So that's what they call routine window, I think. Yeah, routine window, number 8. Number 9 is also another very important component called the output window. The output window is not the output from the PLC. Actually, output window, they mean that this output is not the PLC output, it's the feedback from the RSLogic 5000 or your software, right? So it's very important when you are doing the troubleshooting, right? So all the problems, believe me, you will have a lot of errors in your program. The feedback mainly you can get from this output window. All right, I'll have a separate video talk about this very important part for the troubleshooting. All right, so that's a different window. Sorry, a different video. All right, I cannot uh, talk about that too much on this part. All right, so let me get my clear out. Yeah, clear out. And then let's look at the first slide. So the first slide, I will do some demo with Studio 5000. Let me open that window. Okay, so this is a software we have in the lab, right? Newer version. All right, so there are some reminders I want remind you and also remind me. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is the view menu on here. So actually, the first two reminders, they are common for almost all the Windows applications. They are not specific to this software, right? If you are familiar with other applications, you will see very similar functions from those features. So for example, here, uh, the Studio 5000, you see here, there's always a menu called View, right? By the way, all the menu buttons available on the Windows system supposed to let you to access all the features from the software, right? So if you want to look at some of the components of Windows management, you're supposed to go into this menu. So if I click View, you will see lots not some of the features. So for example, over here, if you click toolbar, right? Uh, right now you can see here the language element is checked, checkbox. That's where you can see this part. This is the this part you can see on here. This is the language element toolbar. But if I uh, uncheck this, all right. So uncheck this, you will see that gone, right? So that's just very similar to all the other Windows applications, right? Just I want to remind you, if you want to see some changes, you should go into here. For example, right now, if I want to look at the errors, right? I choose here, this window pop up. With this window pop up, that's second uh, reminder to you, right? So if you move your cursor around the edge, you will see a divider. I'm not sure if that's the correct term, called divider bar, right? So you can make the window bigger or smaller, right? So you can manage the window, right? The other feature is called auto high. You can see here. So there's a feature called auto high. It looks like a docking pin, right? So if you click on that, this window will be fixed. You can see here, the pin change to different direction, right? It's a toggle button. So if you press that again, that become a auto high status again, right? Same thing here. If you move this divider bar upper, you will see that spot I just talked about, the output quick view pane show up on here, right? So you can see here, I highlight this, it gave me information, all right, on the emulator slot number 8, right? So if I click on the program, it gave you different informations on here, right? So the third reminder on the output window, I just want, you can also open that on here, right? I already talked about this, click this. This window has 3 tabs, right? So air, search, and watch. So when you click this, you change to watch view, right? So if you also click on here, you can pin it. I already talked about this feature. Uh, Other features, I will continue to talk about it once we go into different part of the video.